on Instagram, babykid._. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to this video, man. Today, I just wanted to come to y'all and talk to you guys about a lot of different things that I got going on. The first video I made, I had a very messed up visual today. I'm still working on the setup, man. Later on today, I'm finishing up putting everything together. So by the next video, everything is gonna be put up. That's gonna be put up. Got my background I need to put up. So it's a lot of different things that we got going on, but I'm gonna try to make the most out of what we got going on today, because that's what we do. We make it happen. So today, first of all, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, man. I'm gonna be giving a lot of different sources and dropping gems and talking about just a lot of credit stuff, man. I'm a credit specialist. So I'm going in this year on really helping people fix and build their credit. I got a lot of different systems that I put in play, and I'm very open to just, helping people change their life, man. That's really just what I got going on right now. Also, I have a clothing line. This is it right here. I'm a business owner on both sides, and this is just something else that I want to do, is just come back, give a lot of information, and just talk about different things that how I see the world. I got a lot of views on the world, and a lot of people be telling me like, "Hey, you should motivational speak. Hey, you should talk. You should think about having your own podcast." So I just did it. You feel me? We make it happen. That's what we do. So today, man, I want to talk about two different things, maybe a couple other different things as well, just depending on where the time takes us. But I also want to talk about first thing first. I want to talk about the difference between credit versus debt. I see a lot of conversations online that people be talking about credit and the pros and cons of both sides and how you can use it to your leverage and how you can utilize it for you to use it for your better half. A lot of people don't really know what's the difference, so I'm gonna break that down a little bit more in detail. And I also want to talk about just the meanings of life, the meanings of credit versus debit, debt, the difference between, you feel me, just how you look at life and how life really is, the meanings of how you really see life and what's the perspectives on it from what's the reality of it. And our personal reality creates our personality. So, and our personality has a lot to do with our personal reality. If you don't understand how that works and the message that comes behind that, you kind of got to just look a little bit deeper into what's going on into the world, how you see the world, your perspective and your perceptions on things, and just how you choose to look at different things. But I'm gonna talk about that once I start off. So today, first things first, I want to talk about the difference between credit and debit. I mean, credit and debt. I'm sorry, but a lot of people always get credit and debt mixed up. They be thinking that credit and debt is like the same thing, but really is not at all. Credit is more or less like just the amount of money that you have access to. Debt is a part of credit as well, but debt is actually the amount of money that you owe. So what I mean by that is, when you have a credit card and they tell you your limit, you may have a $10,000 limit. Now just say if you've already used 3,000, you owe the bank $3,000. That's your debt. You have maybe $7,000 in access credit. That would be your credit limit. That would be your credit. So when you're working on credit, when you're trying to do different things, even whether you're working on your personal credit or your business credit, you always want to put yourself in a position that where you have access to funds in case of emergency. That is what credit is used for 99% of the time. And just not 99% of the time, but majority of the time, when whether whatever situation is, you always want to be in a position where you can have access to money. Banks are supposed to be used for, hey man, I'm in this situation and I need this and I need that, and whatever situation you got going on, you can always put it into play. So when you really breaking different things down on, what the terminologies really is and how you get into what situations, credit is just the breakdown of, different accounts. It's the breakdown of how much you owe. It's the breakdown of your how you spend. So what I mean by that is, credit is broken up into all of these different factors. And if you don't always pay different things back on time and you don't do things in the right manner, a lot of this stuff will affect your credit score. Your credit score is a breakdown of all of these factors that I just went over, along with a couple other factors. And you always can put yourself in good standings by always paying stuff back. When you put paying stuff back and you pay people back, whether you have a credit card, a phone bill, a car loan, you want to pay things back and you want to pay things on time. If you're not paying things on time, that will affect your credit. A lot of these different things affect your credit, and at the end of the day, it's about just mastering and figuring out what these different things is. And when you have a lot of debt on the business side, you can get utilize debt. Everybody in real estate, a lot of people understand how they can use different debts to actually benefit them. Like they don't care about hard money loans, or they don't care about certain loans because they will use debt to literally make them money. So it's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt would be an example of, you being in let's just say you have a house and you just put $10,000 down on the house. It was $100,000 house. You owe 90,000. That's good debt. You refinance the house. You do a couple fixing up. You give it to some people who can help you sell it. You can sell it for more than what you bought it for. That would be an example of good debt. Bad debt would be going on Afterpay, going on Amazon, going to buy a lot of different items, put it on your Afterpay account, and now you got to pay it back. You're buying something that's a liability that's not making you no money. On the aspect of, an asset is using debt to utilize it to where you can make more money off of the money that you have already borrowed. So it's not no knock to nobody. I feel like a lot of people would be jokes about people that be giving out this type of content, and they be like, "Oh, we da 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 this, da 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 that." Like, if you choose to use Afterpay, it ain't no bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like, that's one of the parts of what I want to talk about, the meanings of it. All of this stuff is just words. When you break down the meanings of what debt is, what credit is, what's bad credit, what's good credit, even that is not bad. It's just how you choose to live life. Like, if you like to go buy clothes and you don't get paid, and you know how to use these different things to your leverage, it's not even bad debt. It's, you responsible and you taking care of your things. But a lot of people want to save information to always save people, to always put it in your face, to be like, man, be responsible with your money, do this, do that. Which you're supposed to be responsible with your money, but don't listen to this type of stuff and get to feeling bad, like, oh man, I ain't doing the right thing, or I just went to Victoria's Secret and put all this stuff on my Victoria's Secret card. I don't know why I did that. Man, just chill. Like, just live your life. Like, you feel me? Like, as long as you got the money to pay it back, you're gonna be cool. Just always remember, whenever you take out any amount of money, you always are entitled to pay it back. So that would be the breakdown on, good and bad debt, the meaning of that. Good and bad credit just basically dictates your life. When you have very, very good credit, you have access to different things that you don't have with bad credit. When it comes down to getting houses, getting cars, and getting approved for these different things and getting low interest rates, you're always going to have the better terms, and you're always going to put yourself in a better position if you have good credit. If you have good credit, you'll get lower interest rates. There's people who have real nice cars, and since they have a low interest rate, the person with bad credit that doesn't put themselves into position to gain knowledge on how to fix their credit, or put themselves around people that fix credit, all they're doing is paying more interest rates than the person with the better credit, and they're getting a not as good car, and they're paying the same amount for, your car payment, just because of the interest rate. And literally, if you can fix your credit and put yourself in a good position with good credit, that'll save you from having to pay things. It's interest credit. Credit, I mean, interest. So when you go to these different dealerships, and when you're in these different places and you're talking to these people and you're trying to get loans and stuff like that, when they come out and they tell you, oh, this is how much you owe, or this is what you're going to be, your payment is going to be every month, that is literally dictated off your personal credit score and your income that you make and things of that nature. And these people in these banks, they so smart when they're trying to give you these loans, they actually look into different things. So they look into where you live. When you fill out that application, every question on that application matters. The banks look at where you live, um, phone number, all of this stuff, name. They look at every single thing. They know that if you stay in this zip code, that you stay around these type of people, and this is could dictate this, and this will be your probability on your being able to, pay me back. Credit is just the amount of money that they think that they could pay you back, that you can pay them back. So that's all you can look at credit as is, oh, when I'm getting this bank or when I'm getting that bank, this is their ability to pay me back. So that's the stuff that I wanted to break down with credit, man. I'm gonna be giving a lot of different videos every day, just talking about credit, breaking down credit versus debt. I'm gonna get very in detail about different things. I want to break down inquiries. I want to break down collections. I want to break down bankruptcies, repos. I'm gonna have days where I just talk about each one in specific detail. But as I'm starting off still, I just want to just give y'all an introduction and let y'all know like this is what's going on and this is how you can use certain stuff. So whenever I see stuff on social media or even if you're watching this video so far, don't be afraid to leave a comment on what you think I should talk about. Talk about it. So another thing I want to break down today is just the meaning of life. I think that when you look at all of these different terminologies, we don't always have the correct meanings of how we see it. A lot of different things in our life is based off of our perspective on how we see it, and a lot of our perspective is blurred based off of the people that we're around, the things that we watch, the things that we do, the time, the ways that we spend our time, and the things that the hobbies and stuff that we usually tend to put ourselves in. A lot of this stuff dictates our personal reality, and if you don't really realize that everything that you do is very important, like people is paying attention to everything that you do, and not only person that is really paying attention to what you do is your own self. We all have something called a subconscious mind. Picks up everything that you do. So when you wake up and you start doing certain things, sometimes your everyday life is start to get the same because your mind get used to you doing certain things. The whole thing behind building discipline is actually putting yourself in a position to, be able to have resilience to do things in a situation, whether you feel like doing it or you don't feel like doing it. But in our subconscious mind, a lot of things that whatever poor habit that you have or poor judgment that you have on people or whatever situation you is, it really is always your fault, whether you look at it like that or not, just based off of the meanings that how we see it. Because when you talk to a lot of people that always talk about certain things, like the person that always talks about, hey, I'm in a bad relationship, hey, I'm in a bad relationship, this person cheated on me. Whenever these people continuously talk about this stuff continuously happens to them. Why does it continuously happen to them? Because they're programming their mind. They keep saying this each and every day. This person cheating on me, or I'll always run into bad people, or people don't know how to treat me. You telling yourself how the world is working, how people live, how people think. So when you sitting there and you telling yourself this is what you was telling yourself. So the meaning behind a lot of this stuff is really breaking down your personal meaning to how it feels to you because I don't see the world like that. Like once I changed my reality to stuff and I seen things as, hey, this is easy or hey, I can get this done. I never really imagined me having my own setup and making podcast videos until I thought about it. Then when I thought about it, I put into action. I say, hey, I can do that. I never thought I could have my own clothing line. And I dreamed of talking about having my own clothing line on my own podcast video. I did that. I started a credit business. A lot of this stuff ain't just been easy and it ain't been uh, uh you know easy just walking apart, but a lot of this stuff is doable just based off of I tell myself I can do anything that I can put my mind to. If my mind can believe it, then I can achieve it. So a lot of people just really put themselves in bad thinking habits on what they can and can't do, whether it's getting fit, making money, doing certain things. You can really do whatever you put yourself to, and a lot of these different words and life tacticals on what we talk about, you got to really watch what you say. The power of the tongue is very important. If you don't understand the meanings of things, like I tell people all the time, I don't want to be nice. Nice comes from the root word nasar. Nasar means to not know. So a lot of people be walking around talking about, I want to be nice, or that person not nice. I'm not nice. Nasar is basically saying is a root word. Is comes from another language, and it's really telling you that you don't know. So when it comes down to people talking about different things, a lot of stores be saying have a nice day. That comes from back in the day when certain stores used to sell old bread, they sell you spoiled milk, they'll tell you have a nice day because nice is a word that everybody think is a feel good word and it makes people feel good. So they say have a nice day and oh, I want to have a nice day. But it's just stuff like that. Humble, another word. Like the meaning of these words, if you go look the words up in the dictionary, when you're saying these words, you'll stop using these words. These words, not even words that is coincide to what you think they are. Humble always, to me, I always thought that like if you had a very, very high ego, humble would be like, to level yourself out so you to be a certain type of person. Humble means to look at yourself in a bad way. I will never want to look at myself in a bad way. Like, and when I'm just saying all of this stuff, it's just not even for me because I'm having my own, meaning of how I see life and how I see things. I'm happy that it took me a lot of time to build all of this stuff up because I used to talk about a lot of different things and not really have a clear vision on like how it may affect other people, knowing that I was going to be giving out this information to other people. So a lot of different stuff that I've talked about and the meanings of whatever you do. Whatever you do in life is whatever you want to do. Your meaning to your life is purposeful. So whatever, if you choose to work, not work, own a business, not have a business, work for somebody else's business, invest your money into other people's business, work for yourself. Whatever you want to do in your life is dedicated off of what you want to do. However, find the meaning behind it. Find out why you're doing what you want to do. And long as it makes you feel good inside, to where you feel like really chasing your purpose. Like me, I just feel like for a long time in my life, I used to do a lot of different things that wasn't purpose fulfilling. And I can feel it in my soul that it didn't make me feel good. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And at the end of the day, I'd just be doing a bunch of this stuff, and I wouldn't be feeling like, man, I did anything that was like major and so important for the day. But now every time that I do certain things, I make them real purposeful, and I make it very important to me, myself, and I think about my future family. I think about, like, people talk about doing things for their kids. But you got to realize the meaning of doing things for your kids. Doing things for your kids and what they will want. Sometimes you got to put these different things in perspective. A lot of people just think working real hard and making, ends meet is doing things for their kids. But sometimes, you could be doing your kid injustice. A lot of your kids see whatever you do. So, like, I'm not saying your kid can't see you struggle. Your kid gonna see you struggle. But at the end of the day, you got to put yourself in a position to where, man, if I'm doing all of this, let me build this something to where I can build this up and show my kid this is what I've been working on this whole time that he's been alive. Otherwise, you just do all this work for 20, 30 years and you don't got nothing to show for it but a 401k. In 2024, the world is changing. So it's like, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But you got to realize when you saying certain things, what's the meaning behind it. That 401k ain't for your kids. That's only going to be able to support you maybe a little bit. You can't say you doing certain things for somebody and you only doing it for yourself. So breaking down what's a selfless person and a selfish person. Sometimes I tell people, like, when people ask me like, oh, do you feel like you're a selfish person or not? I'm selfish and selfless. You got to be selfish and selfless to actually, like, for either one of them to make sense, because selfish people have to be selfless and selfless people have to be selfish too. So to break that down, it's like the person who thinks for everybody has to think for itself. If he cannot think for himself, then how can he think for another person? And even a person who wants a lot of things for himself, he still is thinking about other people in order to put himself in a position to get what he want in the situation of, like, if you look at some of the people in the world that they look at as bad people, like, we take, just a scammer for instance. This person knows how to make people feel good, to do certain things to make them get what he wants so he can get what he wants out of the situation. He ain't just doing bad stuff and saying anything to anybody, and he putting himself in a position of presentation wise, and this is what's going on. So a lot of people don't really understand the world that we living in and what do we do. Like, and everything that you consume is a part of you, like the conversations that you have, the people, the environment that you put yourself into. When you put yourself into a certain workforce, you got to realize the meanings of the friends that you make at this job, what job you working at. The job and your friends going to go together. The people that have real estate friends, they have doctor friends, they have firefighter friends, it's no knock to them, but they're going to have a little bit more information on how the world works than the person who only has friends that work at Amazon, that work at Burger King, that work at McDonald's. And you can do anything to go get friends. That's the pros of doing positive things in life. The meanings of certain things is going to put you in certain places. I don't like to go to the bar. I'm always going to choose to go to the gym over the bar. Why? Because when I go to the gym, I'm going to walk into a person who's trying to better himself in some way or form. He's in a sauna, maybe sweating. He could even be a bigger person, but he's trying to better himself. He could be in the gym working out. He's trying to better himself. But we have a conversation. Now we can have a conversation and build. If I meet you and you're at a bar, you're not even in a position to meet nobody for real, for real. In reality, you in a position to where you trying to relax. You trying to take some ease off. You might be thinking about a significant other or an ex, and now you trying to let some steam off. So you in there trying to have a good time. But your mind frame makes it, let me build, let me try to make some money. People don't go to the bar with that meaning all the time. Like, some people do in good places, and that's the meaning behind a lot of different things in life. What cities you choose to live in. The meaning behind that is very deep. It's very, very obvious that when you live in certain places, it's going to be easier for you to access certain information based off of living in other places. It's going to be harder for you to access different information just because how the city works. If more people have businesses, you're gonna have access to having conversations with more people that have businesses. So putting yourself in those environments is gonna get you a little bit more money, opposed to when you putting yourself around people who got this still like I call it like the '06 way of living. '06 was just everybody was still working hard. It really wasn't this much flashy stuff going on. A lot of people that did have their money kind of was hiding it in different areas, but it was still people that was rich. It was still people that was having it. But like now it's like the way we social media is presented to us and stuff like that, people get into it. But at the same time, it is a lot of people getting to it, period, for real. That's what's going on. So it's just your perspective on different things. I think I used to have a weird look on school. I went to college myself and I went to two different colleges. I did not finish, but I tell people all the time that doesn't really affect me or my journey. I was happy to go for my experience. And when I look at, school, what is the meaning of school? School is to educate. When you look at what the word educate is, go look up the word educate, they're gonna look up the word inform. A lot of this stuff isn't to put us into position to win, it's the meaning of putting us into position to do something. When you go there, you're doing something. So when I tell people about how I look at school, I think that you should go there, and that's a good place to make friends. You network with people who trying to better themselves, who trying to see themselves in different positions. School may not be your end all be all, but it's a stepping stone into where it was. It was a stepping stone for me, but I wouldn't encourage, my kids in this world right now to be like, go to school. Now, I wouldn't tell my kid not to go to school. If they want to go to school, then that's on them. That's just how I am. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna put them in position to be like, man, make sure you meet this person, because it's people like me who gonna be very, very successful and might send their kids to school anyways. And then when you can meet their kids, now you're in position to network with good people. You want to put yourself around good people, and you always want to understand the meaning of, like a lot of these little sayings. You just some of the five people you hang around. These ain't just been no sayings, and people ain't just saying this stuff for no reason. You really is the some of the five people that you choose to hang around. So, man, a lot of this life stuff and looking at life, looking at what partner you choose, what life you choose to live, the meanings of what's going on. Like me, I really just look at the meaning of a lot of different things. Like the meaning of make it happen. Man, the meaning of make it happen is deep to me. Like I'm really trying to make this stuff happen. I'm making my life happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Ain't no trying to or nothing. This is what's going on. I'm making it happen. Like I'm gonna make it happen. And I think a lot of people got these meanings of, hey, you want to do this, or being focused, or being locked in, being disciplined. Man, if you disciplined and doing something that ain't gonna put you in a better position, the meaning behind that is not that big of a meaning. It may be meaningful to you, but is it meaningful to the world? A lot of people want to be music artists. A lot of people want to have businesses. People want to do certain things. If you don't understand the meaning of why people do certain things and what's the idea is to serve other people. You making all of this stuff and you doing all of this stuff for something that's meaningful and purposeful and soulful for you. But when you leave this earth, is it going to be soulful and meaningful to anybody else? A lot of this content that I'm making it because I want to give